Hey guys, it's been a while. A long while. So long, Supernatural is now gearing up for its 13th season at the time of this recording. Now some of you may be wondering, Shipper's Guide, why the wait? Season 7 is the most castless season since Season 4. He dies in the second episode. And to that I say... Well, just because Cass was gone for a lot of it, don't think Season 7 isn't worth your time, or that it doesn't have many a shippable moment, because oh boy, does it ever. Season 7 picks up right where Season 6 left off, with a power-mad Cass demanding the Winchester brothers and Bobby kneel before him.
Stop. What's the point if you don't mean it?
This season brought us more conflicts than knees on concrete floors, though. This season, we had to contend with the Leviathan, who bear little to no relation to their source material. But they have a plan, to take over the world using a truly classic method.
It's a cookbook!
That's right, it's time to dumb down the populace and feast away. The fact that the creative team decided to name their head Leviathan Dick and proceeded to make as many puns as possible was a good time as well. This season also featured Sam's slow descent into insanity, but only when it mattered to the plot, and also featured Dean's many coping mechanisms of losing both Cass and Bobby, such as alcoholism and pie. It also featured an episode that reunited two Buffy stars, the return of a truly maligned Becky, and the introduction of a controversial Charlie. Also, there was an episode called Slash Fiction, which sadly had nothing to do with the fandom meaning of such a title. But if you like demons being killed with essentially soap and Dean and Sam vlogging murder sprees, then man is this the episode for you. On the whole, this season was more of a return to form for those who preferred the Monster of the Week format, though because of that, it did feel like the main arc could get a bit lost at times, as the show slowly begins to build towards new grand arcs since it was originally supposed to end in Season 5, which is hard to imagine these days now that the new rumored end time is Season 14, but we'll have to wait and see. Until that day, let us warm ourselves by the fire of some more Destiel Most Shippable Moments, Season 7 edition. Number 7. Castiels Trenchcoat, from the Born Again Identity, Season 7, Episode 17. Sam has finally lost it. He can no longer handle the guest appearances by Lucifer, and he's slowly dying. Well, Dean can't have that. Thankfully, there are rumors of a Deus Ex Machina named Emmanuel who can heal his brother. Dean goes to hunt him down, only to find that he's actually, wait for it, Castiel.
I'm Emmanuel. Dean.
This whole episode features Dean trying to wrestle with his lingering feelings of hurt and betrayal over Cass's actions in Season 6. You know, back with the secret Cass-Crowley alliance that had me low-key shipping them. However, while the whole episode is steeped in feels, a key moment comes when Cass remembers who he is and decides to help with Sam and getting into the hospital. At which point Dean reveals he's kept Cass's beloved trench coat in the trunk of his car the whole time, blood and all. Despite all the anger and hurt and statements that he was fine and moving on, Dean clearly had hope that he would see his angel again. The most spiteful thing you could say is that he didn't wash it, and even that is kinda sentimental. As Dean gives him back his coat, it's a subtle message saying, we're not okay yet, but we will be. And also, I never stopped thinking about you. Bonus points to the episode for almost lasting the entire episode with Amnesiac Cass, even though it had plenty of narrative potential to be drawn out longer. Potential that figures were more than happy to explore. Number 6. Sorry, from Reading is Fundamental, Episode 21. Cass has been in a coma for a few episodes until the plot needed him again, and now is his time. Unfortunately, he's a bit discombobulated, what with having to channel Sam's demons and all. While Dean is still hurt, he's thrilled to see him, and disappointed that he's not quite himself. Despite Cass's apparent lack of lucidity, Dean still asks him for help, because Cass could be dying and the Winchesters would still ask him to help them first, at least at this point anyway. Ultimately though, a scarred Cass can only offer Dean a literal sorry. This scene brings all the feels, as it is possible to see that even though Cass is seemingly out of it, the sorry is still genuine, and he wants to help Dean. And Dean wants their relationship to go back to how it was, even though he is still haunted by the betrayal.
Forget the game. Cass. I'm sorry, Dean. No. You're playing sorry.
It also gains points for being humorous on top of everything, bringing back some of the fun snark that colors these two's relationship. I guess when it comes to shipping Destiel, there's only one question.
Do you want to go first?
Now if you thought Dean carting Cass's coat across the country and transferring it from car to car was shippy, which yes it is, well that's got nothing on the moment he decided to keep it in the first place, way back in episode 2, Hello Cruel World, in at our number 5. This was the episode where we said goodbye to Cass for 15 episodes. After being consumed by the power of the Leviathan, Cass walks into the water and vanishes, leaving a distraught, well, as distraught as Dean can be, behind. Finding Cass's symbolic trench coat is the signal that he's really gone, after the whirlwind that has been finding out about his betrayal, thinking he was dead, thinking he was cured, and ultimately finding out his Cass has been subsumed. After all of this, what does Dean, notorious for pushing his emotions down and away, do? He keeps the trench coat, a symbol of his fallen friend. This moment is nice and subtle, but still hits home because of what it means for Dean's character to keep a memento like that, especially when we see him do a similar thing with Bobby's flask, although he actually uses that, borderline alcoholic that he is. I mean, he couldn't wear Cass's coat, it would clash with his whole bad boy image. Not that a trench coat can't be intimidating and imply rebellious teen angst, just not that trench coat. Number 4, I Feel Regret About You, from episode 1, Meet the New Boss. After Castiel absorbs all the souls from Purgatory, he goes about trying to prove his godhood. Unfortunately, not only is he very smitey, but carrying around all those evil Purgatory souls is slowly killing him and destroying his vessel. Ultimately, Cass comes to realize what is happening and seeks out the Winchesters for help, which means dealing with one salty Dean. As Dean sets up for the ritual, Cass attempts a heartfelt apology.
I feel regret about you and what I did to Sam. I just wanted to make amends before I die.
Okay.
You're tearing me apart!
This sad moment heralds that while the two still care about each other, the relationship is damaged, and yet there is an undercurrent still binding them together, as seen by how quickly Dean rushes to his side when he collapses, and how eager he is for the ritual to work. Oh, fix it. Thy name is Season 7. A whole season waiting for these two to be fixed. Even about to explode, Cass still tries to find a way to save Dean first, and takes a moment to express his genuine regret. Number 3. Amnesiac Car Ride from the Born Again Identity. After discovering Emmanuel is Cass without his memories, Dean whisks him off to help Sam. And that requires what this show does best: pertinent, emotionally heartfelt conversations taking place in a car. Cass seems happy in his new life and is doing his best to help people, and while Dean doesn't want to jeopardize that, he does want his Cass back. In fact, needs him back. Even though he's mad at him, he finds himself unable to keep from talking about Cass to, well, Cass, sharing so much baggage that it doesn't take much hinting by Meg, who they pick up along the way, that he is indeed Castiel. The whole scene is suffused with this undercurrent of longing.
I just know that this whole thing couldn't be messier. You know, I used to be able to just shake this stuff off. What Cass did, I just can't. I don't know why.
That and Emmanuel's awesome blue dad sweater make this one shippable car ride. Number 2, Impala of Forgiveness from Survival of the Fittest. In the season finale, it's finally time to go get Dick, but they need Cass more than ever, since after the lead Leviathan made multiple copies of his host form, only Cass can tell the Dicks apart. However, Cass is terrified he will mess up again and ruin everything, which makes the moment he agrees to help all the more powerful, made more so by it being preceded by Dean saying he'll take him any way he can get him, even as broken as he currently is. And Cass is thrilled to note that Dean has started to forgive him.
What? I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I detect a note of forgiveness.
And a whole fandom sighed in relief, because as fun as angst between these two is, they really shine the brightest as friends, and in most shippers' minds, as something more. And the number 1 most shippable moment? The silent hallway exchange as the two hunt down Dick in Survival of the Fittest. And I wasn't trying to make that sound juvenile, but the show calling their head villain Dick makes it nearly impossible.
You got anything to say on the topic of dicks?
Now some of you may be thinking, really? This one glance? Number 1? List invalid. Well, hear me out. Remember way back in Shippable Moments Season 4 when we started this? I said moments would be based not necessarily on how huge they were, but on impact and also what they implied. Well, this moment has a lot of both. You get the implication that despite how long they've been apart, they've just slipped right back into working together. Their bond is still intact. Cass is still Dean's angel, and they still get each other, even with Cass as out of it as he is, and how fresh and new Dean's forgiveness is. Second, this still of the two gazing at each other is a Destiel staple. To this day, looking up Destiel with no other criteria brings this image up in the first row, at the time of this recording at least. And it comes up again when you simply look up Dean and Castiel, meaning it's one of the first images a shipper old or new could potentially see. Also, the way the shot is framed with the two at the corner where the wall bends creates an added sense that they're leaning into each other, and with the patented Destiel eye communication in place, it's no wonder this image stands out. Add the fact that the two are looking for Dick, you have shipping gold. So those were the 7 most shippable moments of Season 7. Finally, this season really highlights how integral Castiel had become not only to the narrative but to the feel of the show itself. While some were glad he was gone, he was terribly missed by most, shippers or not. It also has some strong standalone episodes and brings back some familiar welcome faces. Well, welcome to me anyways. I'm pro Garth. My favorite non-shipping episode was definitely Plucky Pennywhistle's Magical Menagerie, as seeing Sam fight off scary clowns was just a great time. This season also saw the exit of Bobby as a series regular, which is really sad as this show has so few and he really brought something different to the table, especially since the boys aren't that great at research, let's be honest. It also saw the return of Becky, and her characterization is as polarizing as ever, and the introduction of Charlie, for whom many would say the same. On the whole, Season 7 is a decent season. Not the most exciting, but not the least exciting either. And it has all your staples. Time travel episode, silly humor episode, slightly breaking the fourth wall episode, it's all there. It's a good time, and the shippable moments run throughout, even when Cass isn't there and how much Dean misses him. Next season really brings the ship home though, and introduces one of my fave characters, the Cajun vampire Benny, so I can't wait, which means it won't be another 6 months. I hope. What did you guys think of Season 7, and what were your favorite moments? Did I miss some? Was it Cass making Dean a sandwich? Was it Cass playing Twister? Let me know down below. This has been Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Special thanks to all my patrons for helping make this possible, and as always, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.